So what's the final legislation going to look like? Are we actually going to get any? Let's bring in Grover Norquist, president and founder of Americans for Tax Reform, and CNBC senior contributor Larry Kudlow. Larry, apologies. I'm going to start with Grover.
Please do.
Grover,
Please do.
Where do we stand right now? Who's in charge?
Well, the House has put together a plan which is coherent. I think it's fine. Always could be improved. Also could be badly damaged if they go in the wrong direction. But it would be a permanent tax reduction. So the question we have to ask is, do you stay within the bounds of what allows you to make it a permanent tax reform, permanent reduction in taxes, so that you can do it with 51 votes in the Senate? Otherwise, nothing happens. There are no Democrat votes for any tax increase any time in the next 25 years, but at least the next 25 months. So you really want to stay with that 21 and make it permanent.
But Grover, my question is, the guys in the building behind you, are they still in charge? Because the reports coming out of Washington are that the White House was frustrated with Paul Ryan, they were frustrated with the House and health care reform, and then, in fact, they're going to take control of taxes.
Okay. I'm sure the Trump White House understands that without the House and the Senate, the Republicans, you have nothing. So there's not a question of who's in charge. It's a question of who has the better ideas that can get 218 in the House and 51 in the Senate. The proposals, the key proposals, taking the corporate rate from 35 down to at least 20. That's a consensus issue. Senate, White House. White House may want to go to 15, but at least to 20. And this is something that Trump people have agreed on going back almost a year. Taking the 7 individual rates down to 3, 33, 25, 12. That is a consensus item. The Trump people endorsed that during the campaign, put forward by the House Republicans. Going to immediate expensing of all business investment, consensus item. The Trump campaign endorsed it, and the Republican blueprint includes it. So getting rid of the death tax, getting rid of the AMT permanently, killing them, not reducing them, but eliminating them. These are all items that are on the table. The House has looked at them. The Senate says they're fine. The president has endorsed them in his campaign and since. So what you're looking at is some issues that people are still arguing
Larry, you
about.
wrote this plan.
Yeah.
You wrote all those things that he's talking about.
I want this to be as simple as possible. Grover's an old friend, but I don't believe you can sell the personal tax reforms in the current political environment. What I do believe you can sell is a very simple, straightforward business tax cut. And you might even make it bipartisan. And the Kudlow-Moore plan in the campaign, we worked closely with Steve Mnuchin on this plan, later on with Steve Bannon, Steve Miller, you know, the populist side, they love this stuff. It's you want to raise wages, you want to have better distribution of jobs around the country, cut the corporate tax. It's a wage earners tax cut, and you just have to sell it. So, Sully, hang on. Three steps, real quick. Number 1, repatriation at 10%. Number 2, a 15% corporate tax rate. We could do 20, I suppose. 15 is better. Number 3, immediate expensing for new investment. Now, here's where you go bipartisan. You can win this. Look at Jason Furman's piece in the Journal the other day, Obama's top economist, friend of mine. Link the repatriation to the infrastructure. You're talking about a couple $100 billion, rough estimate. I don't want new Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but you can link it. You could issue bonds. You could issue stock. You could set up.
That gets Democrats on board, you're saying.
No, that's a Democrat's plan. That's John Delaney of Maryland, who's a Democrat.
Yes.
That's his plan.
And that's all you can do. In this environment, you're not going to be able to do the whole big bang process, much as I might want to, much as Grover might want to. The wage earner gets a win. Trump gets a win. The Congress gets a win. And Democrats who play ball get a win.
I said on Morning Joe this morning that given the fact that many Democrats want to have corporate tax reform and infrastructure, almost all GOP want to have it, and the president wants it. If nothing gets done, it's missing a game-winning 27-yard field goal in the Super Bowl. Would that be the greatest failure, and we've had many, but the greatest failure in American politics, given that there is bipartisan support for both?
There is not bipartisan support for both.
Yes, there is. John Delaney's plan is for infrastructure. I interviewed him about it.
We've just had 8 years of the Democrats not doing any of that. I've heard all these promises that they want to bring the rates down. They had complete power for the first 2 years. They did none of it. The Republicans sat and begged and said, we're ready, we're ready, ready for 8 years.
You
nothing.
could get, Grover, you could
nothing.
Get, Grover, look, the Democratic Party is not going to endorse the whole thing. But
You
you
could
could
split
get
some Democrats off.
in the House.
Eight,
That's right.
8 Democrat senators. Unless you have 8 Democratic senators,
no,
you have nothing.
I think you're going to have to go reconciliation. I'm thinking the House.
Okay.
I think you can get 20 moderate Democrats to sign on to this kind of a plan. But, okay, who cares? If you have to force it and jam it through, then you force it and jam it through. It's good economics. It's good for wages. It's very populist, and it's good politics.
So is Larry right, Grover, that
don't let this moment pass.
That you can't let the perfect be the enemy of the
Yes,
good?
there it is.
In other words, that you have to separate individual tax reform from corporate tax reform just to get the one thing through. What do you think about that?
Well, there was an effort to do that, and the small business community in the United States, which is full of Republicans, people who operate through pass-throughs, so subchapter S corporations and partnerships, in the present plan, which the Trump people had approved, that takes that rate down to 25%.
No,
we wanted to go
Grover,
to 20.
Trump's plan is 15%. That was the House plan. We can do better for the LLCs. We can do better for the proprietorships. We wrote the thing with Steve Mnuchin, for heaven's sakes. I know about it.
We will have more of these discussions. Gotta go.
And no bat. No bat. Bat
okay.
out.
Okay.
Bat.